Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NOOR and HAFIZAH binti Hussin, 18BB05038. So our group will present about zakat administration and tax planning, wealth purification. So what is zakat? Zakat is an obligation in Islam to make contributions toward the less fortunate. So in other words, zakat is kind of contribution to help its followers beside wakaf, sadaqah and others. As we all know, zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and is intended to redistribute wealth between the rich and the poor, as well as cleanse the wealth of those who pay zakat. So zakat is wajib in Islam, and Islam has stated that by paying zakat, it will cleanse our wealth and make our rizki more barakah. Next is zakat is basically practiced to help those in society who are in the most need. Next is type of zakat. Zakat has divided into two types, which is zakat fitrah and zakat al-mal on wealth. As we all know that zakat fitrah is paid in the month of Ramadan before prayer of Idul Fitri, and zakat onwards is given at any time during the year when the haul and nisab are reached. So zakat al-mal is divided into 6 category, which is income, saving, gold, business, share and crop. So our group will present gold, business, share and crops. Only 4 from 6. Next is how much zakat do I need to pay? Although there are no specific guidelines in Holy Quran on exact percentage to be given as zakat, the customary practice is to give 2.5 on capital asset. And on agricultural goods, precious metal and livestock, the rate varies between 2.5% and 20%. On Holy Quran, they do not say about this percentage, but ulama has agreed on this percentage. So next is dalil and hadith. We choose one dalil and one hadith that related to zakah. So first is verse 83, Surah Al-Baqarah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa iz akhazna mitsaqa bani Israila la ta'buduna illallah wa bil walidaini ihsana wa dzil qurba wal yatama wal masakin wa qulu lin-nasi husnan wa aqimus salata wa atuz zakah summa tawallaitum illa qalilan minkum wa antum mu'ridun. And recall when we took the covenant from the children of Israel, enjoining upon them, do not worship except Allah, and to parents do good, and to relatives, orphan and the needy, and speak to people good words, and establish prayer, and give zakah. Then you turn away, except a few of you, and you were refusing. Next is hadith narrated Abu Ayub. A man said to the Prophet, "Tell me of such a deed as will make me enter paradise." The people said, what is the matter with him? What is the matter with him? The Prophet said, he has something to ask. What he need greatly. The Prophet, in order to enter paradise, you should worship Allah and do not ascribe any partner to him. Offer prayer perfectly, pay the zakah, and keep good relation with your kid and kin. So we know that zakat is important in Islam. So next is the importance of zakat. Best checks against hoarding. So first is zakat is not live on income but on saving and accumulated goods. So the person who pays zakat each year prefer to invest his wealth and increase it, so it does not decrease year after year. So next is circulation of wealth. Zakat hold money in circulation and thereby support the group as a whole. Next is social security. Zakat function as a social security for all. Those who have enough money today pay what they have, and if they need money tomorrow, they will get what is necessary to help them live decently. Next is human brotherhood. Zakat brings people more closer together and ensure true brotherhood in the true sense of word and the spirit. The Holy Quran has made performance of Salat and payment of Zakat. Both are prerequisites of Islamic brotherhood. And next is social harmony and justice. The gulf between the have and the have not is depicted by Zakat. We see in capitalist economies that wealth accumulates in a few hands and that the condition of the poor deteriorates further. One of zakat purpose is to avoid social disparity. Next is promoting self-respect. Zakat is compulsory for the rich. If they pay zakat, they will perform their duty assigned to the Almighty Allah. They do not favor to the poor and the needy because if they not pay a fair share, they will have to face the wrath of Allah on the day of judgment. And lastly is peace and prosperity. Zakat ensure social justice by bringing financial balance to the different strata of society. As a result, society as a whole strive together and achieve development and prosperity. Next, my friend will present about zakat on gold. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARHATUL Jannah BINTI. My matric number is BB05024. Today I will explain about Zakat on gold. Zakat on gold is a mandatory similar to Zakat al-Mal for all Muslims, which is to be charged over the total amount of gold owned by a person if it exceeds a certain quantity. The quantity over which the zakat applicable to be paid is known as nisab. What is nisab? Nisab is the minimum amount that a Muslim have to pay zakat. Nisab for gold and gold jewellery is different for every state. For example, nisab rate for Selangor is 800 gram of gold. Meanwhile, gold in form of barkik is 85 gram. A Muslim obligated to pay zakat if a person wearing jewellery or keep the gold for more than 1 year. Next. So this is the evidence from legal sources, Al-Quran and Hadith. What I can conclude from Surah At-Tawbah, verse 34 until 35 is Allah have warning for those who are eligible to pay zakat but did not to pay zakat. In the other hand, Prophet Muhammad SAW said, from gold take nothing until it reach 20 dinar. At 20 dinars, there is a half dinar due. Generally, jewelry is not subject to zakat, but if it exceeds the uruf rate, you have to pay zakat. Next, zakat on gold can classify into two categories. First of all, gold for non-usage. Gold in form of barkits, dinar or gold jewellery that is kept without the intention of usage and has held it for more than 1 year, then he is obligated to pay zakat over the gold. If a person owns 85 gram of gold, he is obligated for zakat because weight of the gold has reached the haul and nisab. So zakat is based on 2.5 of total weight of gold from the gold bars. So how to calculate if you have non-usage gold? The calculation is quite simple. So let's say you have 95 grams jewellery, which is above nisab. The calculation is weight of jewellery multiplied by current weight of the gold. For current weight of the gold, you have to refer to lembaga zakat di negeri masing-masing sebab setiap negeri berlainan harga kadar emas semasa, and then multiply by 2.5%. So this is the amount zakat that you have to pay for negeri Selangor. The next, gold for usage. Gold jewelry intended for usage is only obligated for zakat if the weight of piece of the gold jewelry has reached the haul and uruf. What is uruf? Uruf is weight or gram. And uruf rate is different based on the bagi zakat of every state. Zakat is then based on 2.5 of the total weight of gold from the piece of gold jewelry. So I give you an example. If you menetap di Selangor, kadar uruf untuk negeri Selangor adalah 800 gram. So let's say you have 900 gram of jewelry. So the calculation is gold weight minus uruf and then multiply by current gold price. As I mentioned before, current gold price ni boleh tengok di boleh bertanya di pejabat zakat di tempat negeri anda, and then multiply by 2.5%. So this is the amount the zakat that you have to pay for negeri Selangor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SYAMILA HAMIMI BINTI MOHAMMAD AZHAR. My number entry 18BB05035. So, I will continue my slide about the gold investment according to Sharia. Before that, understanding of the Sharia means the religious law performed part of Islamic tradition. It is derived from the perspective of Islam, particularly in the Hadith and the Quran. As we know that the gold is very close to the Islamic culture. Because of that, gold investment according to Sharia is one of the method to Muslim who want to invest in gold by the Sharia requirement. Through the Sharia compliant gold investment are usually divided into two forms, which is the investment in physical gold and the investment in the form of gold account. For the physical gold investment, the physical gold owned is usually intended as an investment to make a profit. Okay, usually this is obligatory to pay if the zakat of it is equal or exceed the nisab of 85 grams. It is usually in the form of coins, ingots, bars, and wafers. Other that, if the amount of the gold owned is intended of investment is 14 grams, it will be calculated as below. That is gold weight times with the current price and then 2.5%, which 2.5% is the when you invest in the gold, the they take 2.5% from the gold as invest as the money to make a zakat investment. So as below, 14 gram which is times with the current price. For the example is 140 and it is times with 2.5% as selected as below. So the answer is for 1,500 ringgit. Second is the call account, as we know as passbook. For the call account investment, is the account record of the total saving in gram of gold where units invest. So this is when you invest in gold account. So this is obligatory to pay zakat if there is an investment intention and weight of the gold is enough for the 85 grams. So, other than that, if the amount of gold in the passbook, example, for the example is 200 grams, it will be calculated as below. For example, is that is the formula over zakat for investment or businesses. So, for the formula is gold weight times to the current price and the times of 2.5% as we talked before is 2.5 is the percent of the gold that we take of the gold to make the investment. So, the calculator below is 200 grams times for the 140 ringgit for the example, and we not remember to times for 2.5%. So the answer is 700 ringgit for the investment. Okay, this is for non-compliant investment goal. Okay, this is usually non-compliant investment goal is divided into two, namely. Okay, this is a form of gold account which is passbook that does not provide physical gold. Okay, then second, gold investment through a virtual world. Maksud dekat sini adalah non-compliant investment goal, maksudnya goal yang kita invest tidak ikut syariat. Jadi, gold password without physical gold, which is the meaning is it is not Islamic, is there is no physical gold holding. So, in charge of zakat is only a principal investment if the amount exceeds the annual nisab value. Okay, maksud dekat sini dia akan charge zakat sekiranya pelaburan itu adalah amount dia bertambah annual nisab punya value, the amount. So it will be calculated according to saving zakat formula. Next, for the second types of the non-compliant investment goal, it is virtual gold account. Okay. What the meaning of virtual gold account? Virtual gold account is a gold traded for non-physical investment, and it uses of the electronic platform in the business. So next, if the investor who have an account at a particular broker can make order to buy and sell gold at the current price displayed on the platform, but cannot claim the physical gold they bought. Next, this is zakat is being charged on principal investment if the amount exceeds the annual nisab rate. For before, it being charged at 6 for the annual nisab rate. It's annual rate. So zakat calculation method of investment goal is not in accordance with Islamic law as the below. This is the formula. So the formula is principal investment as at lower balance times with the zakat rate. So the calculation will be below. For example, for the principal investment is 40,000 ringgit times with 2.5%, which is the answer is 1,000 ringgit for the investment.
Next is zakat on silver. According to Sharia, silver is included in the category of the type of property that subject to zakat. In general, silver metal item consists of four main forms. Example, silver bar, silver coin, home appliances from silver, or silver jewelry. For silver metal, whether used as jewelry or not, the calculation is based on the value of the silver item. The nisab for silver is 200 dirham or 595. So when the weight of silver more than 595, or the silver that you keep has reached more than 1 year, so you have to pay zakat silver. So for the example, let's say you have 600 gram of silver and then multiply by current silver price. As I mentioned, you have to tanya lembaga zakat di negeri anda berapa harga semasa logam perak, multiply by 2.5%. So this is the amount, jumlah zakat perak yang anda perlu bayar di negeri Selangor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURHADIRAH. BINTI Rosli. My matric number is 18BB05014. Yes, I will explain about the zakat on the business. What is zakat on the business? Zakat is obligatory to be paid on the business property, providing service or another for the commercial purpose. Waiting in the form of the private business, partnership business, fellow Muslim or non-Muslims, business company or another forms of the business. If one person have their own business, the zakat is mostly subjects of the payment on the businessman. Okay, means I will explain about compulsory conditions of the business zakat. One is the Muslim. Zakat imposed only the Muslim. Okay. Secondly, free. Slaves are not required to pay the zakat except the zakat al-fitrah. What means of the zakat al-fitrah? Zakat al-fitrah is different from the property and because it is under obligations on the individual, while the zakat harta is under obligation on the property owned. Thirdly is complete ownerships. Almi alta is referred to property that is subject to zakat, must have the protections in terms of the ownerships, namely the ownerships of the assets and the ability to manage tasarruf. What means tasarruf? Tasarruf is that refer that is to have the full of the control over the property. So the owner must be exclusively fully on the properties and possess absolute control over them, also gain the profit from its business. Fourth, above valuations and nisabs. There is a minimum level that's determined whether or not a property of the obligatory to pay the zakat. What is nisab? Nisab is equivalent to the current value of the 85 of the grams gold. Next, 5 compilation cycle whole. Whole is based on the assets value calculated from the initial exceptions or the start of the business until the completion of the one whole year on the property. Originally, the basis of the calculations of the whole is according to the year of the hijrah. But because the consumer uruf today, the use of the year Masihi overrides the use of the year hijrah. Then the practice of the calculating of the zakat is more focused on the calendar of the year. 6 is business attentions, attend to earn revenue and profits. The attention is make a profit while the practice to do the business. These are two elements must consist of the continuously. 7 is about the halal business goods and the service. That's referred to the zakat. So only the halal business are obligated to pay the zakat. The last one is the growth al-namak. The assets must have a growth potential. Okay, the component of the assets including the financial instrument or the securities such as a bond, share or the classified has the current asset and the inventory of the finishing goods. Next, I will explain about types of the zakat on the business. Okay, one is the growth model method or rufiah. It's taken into the account the equity of the owner of the business entity, the resource of financial financing and adjustment are made aided or another way. It is a capital aided with the profit. Secondly, is about the working capital model method. Okay, the adjustment are either to added or deducted to open the item identified. It is taken into the account of the positions of the current property of the business. This is calculation for the zakat on the business. One is from the method of the rupiah. Is the example of the actually its accounting cannot be presented because they are comprehensive. Okay, this is formulated. Next one is about how to calculate on the working capital model method. Have the 5 steps. Okay, which is the step 1 is we need to plus the all of the current asset. Step 2, and after we get the total current assets, so we need to subtract the current liability from the current asset, obtain net the current asset from the business. Okay, step 3, after we get the net current asset, we need to make the adjustment on the net current asset by addition donations spent for our business, and the last for the drawings spent from the business for the personal use also have a subject absolute of stock. Now we have a total net asset due for the zakat. Step 4, we need to multiply total net asset that we get due for the zakat by multiply by the 2.5 of the rate on the zakat. The last step is to multiply with the percentage of the Muslim ownership's share of the business. Allah is mentioned clearly in Al-Quran, Surah An-NUR, verse 37. Based on the above verse, we should not be negligent in the remembering of Allah and performing prayer even when doing business. If we are refused to pay zakat, as if we are greedy in accumulating weights, those who are strive to balance between worldly and ukhrawi affairs are those who are praised by the Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is TASNIM binti AZHAR and my matric number is 18BB05018. Now I will talk about zakat on share. What is share? Share is one of the equal portion of the entire capital stock of a corporation. Zakat on share is based on the market value of the share at the end of the financial year period because share fluctuate in value more rapidly. Zakat is only for Muslim, and for paying a zakat, the share that invests in a company is usually paid in cash. Zakat rate is 2.5% for the lowest value of share. The share must be held by the shareholder for a year and exclude any loan for purchasing the share. This is the basic zakat opinion on stock. For us, it is important to note that there is no clear decision on the share given in the primary or secondary source of Islamic law. Therefore, it is contemporary issue that has been decided based on logic and reasoning in guideline of Islamic law. Since there is no legal stipulation for the stock itself, scholars seek to bring the stock closer to object found in early Islamic times. There is 4 points of the basic zakat, and first is agriculture land. For agriculture land, we can refer to zakat on crop because there is same amount calculation on the zakat. And second is fixed asset. Third is traded goods and merchandise, and the last one is the partnership share. There is 2 ways to calculate zakat on share. First is one type of share. If we only have one type of share, it calculates by taking 2.5% of the market value of the share when whole and nisab are reached. The second point is multiple type of share. Meanwhile, if we have more than one type of share, the calculation and payment of the zakat on share is done at the end of the financial year by taking 2.5% of the market value of all the share at the end of the year. And this is the example and the calculation. For example 1, share owned at the end of one full year. Zakat rate is 2.5% on the lowest cost and the market value. Jadi, kita boleh tengok kat sini, 200,000 unit ni kita akan darab dengan RM1. Lepas tu kita akan dapat RM200,000 juga. So, ni ada contoh zakat. Untuk kita bayar zakat RM200,000, kita darab dengan 2.5%, kita akan dapat RM5,000. Yang ni untuk kita bayar zakat. So, for the example 2, share purchase within a year. The zakat is calculated based on 2.5% on the value of share after deducting the cost of purchasing new share. So, the value of share kita tolak dengan the cost of purchasing new share. Okay, contohnya kat sini, dia bagi RM500,000. Kita tolak dengan RM400,000, kita akan dapat RM100,000. Lepas tu, untuk kita untuk kita kira zakat yang kita perlu bayar, RM100,000 tu kita darab dengan 2.5%. Jadi kita akan dapat RM2,500 untuk kita bayar zakat. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is IZZAT BIKAM with ISMAIL and check number 18 BB053037. And now I'll continue our group presentation with the last subtopic, which is zakat on crops. Before we go further, I want to share with you guys about what is the meaning of crops. So basically, crop is a cultivated plant that is grown on a large scale commercially, especially a cereal, fruit, or vegetable. In a simple word, we can call crop as agriculture product, or in Malay, hasil tanaman. So what kind of agriculture product that should be imposed zakat? According to Mazhab Al-Shafi'i, agricultural zakat is only required to crops that are the staple food crop of a place which can be dried, and if kept, it is resilient. Maksudnya zakat pertanian hanya wajib dikenakan terhadap hasil tanaman yang merupakan makanan asas ataupun makanan ruji sesebuah tempat atau negara, dengan syarat makanan tersebut mestilah boleh dikeringkan dan juga tahan lama. So in Malaysia, we use rice as our staple food, and rice is made from padi. In Malaysia, they often use padi zakat instead of zakat on crops. So, issue have arisen regarding the obligation of paying zakat to non-staple food like coconut, oil palm, cocoa, rubber, and other fruits. Some opine that if the crops are cultivated commercially and bring profit, it still have to pay zakat because it increases Muslim wealth. However, since there are no clear evidence regarding pay zakat on non-staple food, many jurists agreed to imply zakat on crops only to staple food. So this is one of the evidence regarding the obligation of paying zakat on crops from the Quran, Surah Al-An'am 141. The key point was, and pay the due of it on the day of its reaping. Next is regarding necessary condition for agricultural zakat. The first one is Islam, meaning that the owner of the crop should be a Muslim. Thus, a non-Muslim are not obligated to pay zakat. Second condition, the owner of the crop should be free man, meaning that the owner should lead independent life. Thus, a slave are not required to pay zakat. Next is nisab. Nisab for agriculture zakat is 5 aswak, or equals to 363 gantang, or in Malaysia 1,300 kg. So, jika cukup nisab, barulah agriculture zakat ni akan dikenakan. Regarding the how, no need to wait until 1 year because agricultural zakat is paid on the harvested day. Next condition is private ownership, meaning that the owner of the crop should have full ownership and also ability to manage the crops. And lastly, crop yield is due to human. Maksudnya, hasil pertanian tersebut mestilah dihasilkan ataupun ditanam oleh manusia, bukannya tumbuh sendiri. Next one is about zakat rate for agriculture product. Actually, the zakat rate for agriculture are two, which is 5% and 10%, and it was different according to the irrigation method that being used. First, 5% rate. 5% rate. 5% is being used if the crops harvested by means of human energy, animal, and machinery, or it incurs a lot of cost. While 10% rate is being used if it is harvested relying on rainwater. However, there are also some opinion to use 7.5% if the crop is dependent on both of the methods that mentioned before. Next is rate of zakat on crops on state in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, the agriculture zakat is different from one to one state. There are states that use one rate only, two rate, and also three rate. Next is the example of calculation. For example, we use the information from Zakat Selangor. So the agriculture zakat counted 5% after deduction of costs and expenses related. The whole was when harvested, and the padi for Selangor state was 1306 kilogram. So this is the formula. For example situation, the total harvest was 5,000 kilogram, but the price currently 1.75 per kilogram, and expenses is 1,000. Firstly, we will calculate the nisab value, which is the current paddy price multiplied by nisab for paddy, which is 1306 kilogram, and we will get the answer. So we will calculate based on the formula before. 5,000 is the total harvest multiplied by current price 1.75 and minus expenses 1,000. We will get the answer. Since the answer here, which is 7750, is exceed the nisab value that we calculated before, so zakat should be imposed. The amount of zakat that should be imposed is the answer before. We will multiply by 5% because in Selangor state they use only one rate of agriculture zakat, which is 5%. So we will get an answer of 387.5 ringgit Malaysia.
For your information, beside the 6 Al-Mal Zakat that our group and the group before us presenting, there are other types of zakat on wealth like zakat on livestock. As a Muslim, knowledge on zakat is really important as it's one of the 5 pillars in Islam. However, many Muslims still have limited knowledge about zakat. Most Muslims only know about zakat fitrah and the common zakat on wealth, which is zakat on income or zakat on saving. Even now, we are not involved in business, owning a larger amount of gold, invest on share or a farmer, we still have to know the basic things of this zakat because we don't know what are going to happen in the future. Besides, we can use the knowledge to help other Muslims. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention. We hope that you can get some exposure regarding zakat on wealth. That's our group presenting. Thank you.